My wife is hurt! I can't sit here any longer! My wife's hurt! Ah! My wife!
Domestic violence is a serious problem that affects millions of people every year. Unfortunately, it often takes a high-profile tragedy to draw attention to this issue and highlight the urgent need for action.
Please don't go anywhere unless one of us comes to get you or tells you good to go. That way we know exactly where you're at, because we're going to need to come get all your information and talk to you. You're probably going to talk to a couple of different officers and detectives.
The murder of Danielle Nemetz by her husband Skylar Nemetz is one such tragedy. On October 16, 2014, Danielle was shot and killed in their Lakewood, Washington apartment, leaving behind a devastated family and community. The incident was a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating impact of domestic violence on individuals, families, and communities, and the urgent need for resources and support for victims of abuse. On October 16, 2014, Danielle Nemetz was shot and killed by her husband, Skylar Nemetz, in their Lakewood, Washington apartment. Skylar Nemetz was arrested at 6:07 p.m. and taken from his apartment to the Lakewood Police Department for questioning. A camera in the police vehicle recorded everything he said. "My wife is dead. My wife. My wife, what do I do? Just kill me. Just kill me. My wife. My love." Police grilled Skylar Nemetz for hours, asking how a highly trained soldier could accidentally shoot his wife and then neglect to render aid right after. They also questioned why he proceeded to get rid of the alcohol bottles Danielle bought for him instead of calling 911. Skylar was serving in the military at Joint Base Lewis McChord and was charged with second-degree murder. At Skylar's trial, he claimed that he had accidentally shot Danielle while cleaning his rifle.
I put the weapon on fire. It was on fire, so it had the probability of firing the weapon. And I don't know how the fuck it went off, but it went off.
However, the evidence presented by the prosecution showed that he had intentionally shot her in the back of the head while she was sitting at a computer desk. Their young son was in the apartment at the time, but was unharmed. Later that evening, after being questioned for 5.5 hours, Skylar Nemetz was booked and taken to Pierce County Jail under a $1 million bail. When Skylar's mom, Danette Heller, found out that he had been arrested, she immediately uprooted her life and moved to Tacoma to be with Skylar. She spent all of her money and borrowed even more to pay for a top-notch defense lawyer. Danette got Skylar out on bail and under house arrest until his trial. The murder of Danielle Nemetz was a tragic example of the dangers of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a serious problem that affects millions of people every year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. These statistics are alarming and demonstrate the urgent need for action to prevent and address domestic violence. The murder of Danielle Nemetz also brought to light the unique challenges faced by military families in addressing domestic violence. The military culture can sometimes discourage reporting of domestic violence, and there can be barriers to accessing support services. However, there are resources available specifically for military families who are experiencing domestic violence. The Department of Defense has established the Family Advocacy Program, which provides support and assistance to military families who are experiencing domestic violence. The murder of Danielle Nemetz was a devastating event that had a profound impact on her family and community. Danielle was a young mother who was loved and respected by those who knew her. Her loss was deeply felt, and her memory continues to be honored by those who knew her. Skylar Nemetz was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 13 years in prison. His trial and sentencing brought attention to the importance of holding perpetrators of domestic violence accountable for their actions. The murder of Danielle Nemetz was a tragic reminder of the devastating impact of domestic violence on individuals, families, and communities. It is a call to action to work together to raise awareness, provide support and resources for victims, and hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. Only by working together can we hope to end the scourge of domestic violence and create a safer and more just society for all. The murder of Danielle Nemetz by her husband, Skylar Nemetz, was a devastating tragedy that brought attention to the urgent need for resources and support for victims of domestic violence. Danielle's death highlighted the unique challenges faced by military families in addressing domestic violence and the need for specialized resources to support them. Skylar's conviction and sentencing for second-degree murder also underscored the importance of holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. While the loss of Danielle will never be forgotten, her memory continues to inspire action and awareness around the issue of domestic violence.